Hey, what's up guys? In this video we're going to go over creating the files and folders for the server side and the client side of a full stack JavaScript application. Let's get started. First things first, we're going to create our file structure. So we're going to create our server and our client directories. So I'm in my documents, my main root folder, and I'm going to do mkdir, so make directory, and then I'm going to name it boilerplate -MERN -stack. And then I'm going to cd into that folder. You can name it whatever you like. I just chose to name it that. And now we need to create our server directory. So mkdir server, and then we're going to ls that, so to see what files are in there. And then we're going to run npx create -react-app, and then name it client for the client-side application or the React application. And I'm circling right there. That's the same folder structure, so it'll be in the same folder as our server folder. So they'll both be there. So we basically have our client and our server, and so they're distinctively separated, so we know which is the back and the front end. So once this installs, I'll give it a moment. It might take longer for you. I sped this up, so for the sake of time. But we're going to go into the client and ls to see our file structure. And so if I cd into my client and then I ls, I can see all my different files that come with the boilerplate. And I'm going to cd out and cd into the server folder. I'm going to run make directory mkdir config. And we also want to create our server.js file, which is our main file. So I'm going to run touch and then server.js, which will create that file. It's just an empty file. We need to run npm init as well to initialize our package JSON. Just go through all the prompts, just continue through all of them, no need for any input. And now we can see in our server.js our general file structure. So let's go ahead and create our other folders and relevant files that we need. So we're going to create a routes folder, and then we're going to check our file structure again. And then we're also going to cd out of that, and then we're going to cd into the client here momentarily. You can see the server is in the same folder as the client. And now let's go into the client side and let's set up that file structure, that folder structure. So let's cd into the client, and then I'm going to ls so I can just see my existing files and whatnot. And then we're going to create a Redux folder. And then we're also going to create an assets folder, which will store our images, fonts, stuff of that nature. And then we also want to create a pages and a components folder as well. So these will basically, all of your pages will contain the components that are imported modularly. Now we're going to go into the Redux folder and we're going to create those folders. So first we're going to create the folder actions, and then after that we're going to create the folder reducers. And if you don't know what these are, don't worry, I'll cover a course on this later. And then we also need to create a store directory and then touch root.js, and the root.js is basically the combined reducers file. So that's just some Redux related stuff. That's where you import all of your reducers. And then we're going to cat that just to make sure that it is indeed empty. And then I'm going to cd out, and then I'm going to cd back into the main outer layer directory, and then I'm going to cd into server. And then I'm going to cd into the config, and I'm going to do touch db.js, which will be our database connection file. And then I'm going to touch default JSON, which is basically like our env file for the backend. And then we're going to cd out of this folder. And then now we're going to create the schemas and the controllers folders. And those are basically the Mongoose schemas, and the controllers would be like node mailer, things of that nature, things that are controlled modular based components. So like if you want to send an email through SendGrid, that would be in your controllers, for instance. I accidentally put the files outside of the source directory. They should actually be in the source directory, as they won't be read otherwise. So take your pages, your components, assets, and Redux, and move that into the source directory on the client side. And once you do that, those will properly render and be usable within the app client-side application. So this is just a basic video going over the core format for the front end and the back end. So this is the general format, and this is what I use for all my projects, the folder file structure. I appreciate you watching this video. I hope it was helpful. If you liked it, leave a like and drop a comment if you have any questions or if you like the video. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching.